gods. I hope that's working.
I just scrunch down. We'll get it.
All right. Okay. First question, easy question. Why are you running for district attorney, Greene County District Attorney?
I've been dedicated to public service for my entire life. My parents brought me up to participate in community events. I was an altar boy. I was a volunteer fireman when I came of age. I was a volunteer umpire for the Athens Little League. I volunteered as president of the Athens swimming pool. And when I took the job with the New York State Police, I got to help more and more people, and I got to be really involved deeply in public service. And as I worked through my career in the New York State Police, I realized that I could offer more to the public than just being a police officer. I really enjoyed my job. I enjoyed helping people, and I figured that going to law school, and if the opportunity ever availed itself at the end of my state police career to run for district attorney, that's what I would like to do. I decided that in the early 90s. I went to law school in 1994 while I was working. Graduated in 97 and was admitted in 98, and I was taken into State Police Counsel's office, where I got to learn a lot more about how it works throughout the state, not just in Greene County, where I had centered my career. So that was the reason that I'm running for district attorney. It's the fulfillment of a long-time goal of mine, and I think I have a lot to offer the people of Greene County.
You touched on it, but tell us who you are. Who is Paul Salvino? What should the public know?
I'm the second of 8 children in a family that was born and raised in Athens. My father worked as a Central Hudson lineman. My mother was a stay-at-home mother until we were old enough when she became the village clerk in Athens. Always in high school, I went to Coxsackie Athens High School, graduated in 1974. But during high school, I participated in everything. I did very well in school academically. I participated in 3 sports each year. That was basically what took up my time, and the people that I associated with were people from the sports teams that were friends of mine, and the people that were in my classes. I've always been honest. I've always been accountable for my actions. That's something that my father taught me at a very early age. My father's family is also from Athens, and he was one of 9 children, and most of his siblings remained in the Catskill, Athens area, large families. So I always had community family support, and I always thought that was important, that the community was what needed to support you, and I always wanted to contribute back to that. In 1974, after graduating from high school, I was the first person in my family to attend college. I went to the State University at Oneonta, and my father didn't make a lot of money, so it was on my own dime.
Wow.
And so I went there for 4 years. While I was there, I worked to reopen Alpha Phi Omega, which is a national service fraternity. It had been dormant at Oneonta. And while I was there, I worked in the dining halls as starting as a dishwasher, and ended up being the student manager of the Hunt Union. I've always had a very good work ethic. When I graduated from college with debt, I came back home, and Olson Bodies, which was a truck body manufacturer in Athens, was a job that I took so that I could pay my bills. I was a production control clerk there for I think a little over 2 years, and my brother-in-law, Gordon Peruzzi, became a New York State Trooper, and he would come to my house, him and his wife, and on the weekends and study and tell me a little bit about the New York State Police Academy. And he sent me an application. Otherwise, I really never had any idea that I was going to be a police officer. I took the application, and the job at Olson Bodies didn't look like it was going to be a real successful career. There wasn't much room for advancement there. And I took the test, got a good result. They invited me to join them in 1981, and I did. And it's just been great ever since. I've enjoyed the discipline of the academy. I enjoy the accountability. It's always been a hallmark of my life, and that's where I was. And it just improved each year as you get more and more experience and you become more knowledgeable of the law. You can serve the public much better that way.
What differentiates you from your opponent?
I've always been dedicated to public service on the side of the people. I don't believe that Mr. Stanzione has ever been on the side of the people. Not that that's, a point against him, but this is the district attorney's job, the side of the people where you have to prove everything that's going on. You can't simply sit and remain silent. You don't enjoy the presumption of innocence. You enjoy the burden of proof. And the preparation, I've been in every aspect of a criminal case. I've been the first responding officer. I've been the investigating officer of serious crimes. I've coordinated homicide trials. I've coordinated homicide investigations, not just in Greene County. I became good enough that I was called to do that also in the 5-county area of the troop that I was assigned. I coordinated homicide investigations in Orange County as well as Ulster County. I've consulted with district attorneys concerning homicide trials in all 3 of those counties. I've been an undercover narcotics officer. I've applied for and obtained search warrants. I've executed search warrants. I've applied for and obtained pen register orders. I've assisted district attorneys in 3 counties with writing applications to get wire orders, Title III eavesdropping warrants. I've executed eavesdropping warrants. I've collected evidence at homicide scenes. I have an abundance of experience in the criminal law. In addition, the state police is a very organized paramilitary type organization. So as you progress through your career, you're continually supervising other individuals, whether it be fellow troopers, fellow investigators, or officers that are in charge, but you're actually doing the investigation. So I've obtained a large quantity of supervisory experience. I've obtained a lot of training within the state police to become a supervisor. And after going to law school, I also got assigned to the State Police Counsel's Office at Albany headquarters, which oversees the entire state in the state police. So I got to advise troopers from across the state, prosecutors, investigators, officers of the New York State Police, and police officers from other agencies that would call concerning criminal procedure and criminal investigations. I've also been able to work with the Attorney General in lawsuits against the state and the members of the state police. I've had delegated authority to prosecute non-criminal offenses in Dutchess County, and I also was out in Erie County for a little while doing that, basically vehicle and traffic law violations. I also instituted a lawsuit against a local criminal court judge in Dutchess County because he was dismissing he was actually allowing plea bargainings to go forward in cases in which we had delegated authority, and it was our opinion, the state police and mine, I did the paperwork, that he didn't have authority to do it without consent of the prosecution, and that was us. That resulted in a lawsuit in which we prevailed at the Supreme Court level, and the court appealed that decision. So I appeared before the appellate division in Brooklyn and argued that case, and we prevailed in that case. The court was acting in excess of its authority, basically. I've also appeared in the appellate division in the 3rd Department on another case in which our members were being subpoenaed to appear for trials, and no trial was ever taken place. So I have appellate experience in the appellate division. I also argued a case in which another court in Dutchess County dismissed in the interest of justice a vehicle and traffic law case because the state police refused to plea bargain, and we objected to that and appealed that, to the appellate term, the 9th and 10th department down there, and I prevailed in that case too. So I have a lot of experience. I've been in every court in Greene County. I've testified in every court in Greene County, and I've even prosecuted some cases back when I was a trooper, not as a lawyer. I prosecuted a DWI case in Coxsackie, which meant that I had to pick the jury, call witnesses, basically myself, because I had made the arrest. And that was at the time when I was a trooper, and that was under delegated authority from the Greene County DA, who at the time was a one-man office. So they delegated authority to prosecute to the police agency for vehicle and traffic law offenses and non-criminal offenses. I also prosecuted a case in Greenville, unlawful possession of marijuana, because that was a non-criminal offense, and I've done that. As a lawyer, I've assisted with prosecutions. As a lawyer, I've assisted with lawsuits. I've defended depositions of state police members. One of my duties in the state police was also to be the prosecutor, so to speak, in administrative hearings in which a trooper or a member of the state police was alleged to have engaged in misconduct. It's a three-man panel that you present evidence to, and if you sustain the burden, then the member is subjected to discipline within the state police, sometimes resulting in removal from the state police. So I have a wide range of experience, and I think that's what separates me from Mr. Sanzione. I have experience from start to finish in a criminal case. I have experience not only in Greene County as a police officer, but I have experience across the state on how people do things. I have experience counseling with other prosecutors. I have experience teaching other prosecutors at the New York Prosecutors Training Institute. I've taught troopers, I've taught police officers. I'm thoroughly familiar with the criminal law, and I have the experience of a police officer to know exactly what the police officers are talking about when they come to be prepared for trial.
Have you prosecuted as the lead attorney criminal cases, felony cases?
Not as a lead attorney.
No. What does it mean to coordinate a homicide investigation?
When the homicide is reported, obviously you're starting at ground zero, so you have to figure out how to investigate the crime based on what facts you observe at the crime scene, where it is, who's involved. And generally speaking, what the state police procedure is to send as many investigators that are available to the scene and disperse them to conduct leads. To coordinate a homicide, that would be my job, would be to assign investigators different leads based on the information that we have. They would go out, conduct the investigation, report back to me. I would take what they've given me and form new leads and assign that to other members. And as that came back in, I would read those and we would go through it and try to condense it and to focus the investigation so that we would know, find the ultimate perpetrator. Sometimes that takes a day. You might have information that it quickly gets resolved. I've been on homicide cases where I've been assigned to that position for 3 and 4 weeks. Generally speaking, at the initial stage, we're talking about 16, 17 hours a day. Go home, get some sleep, have a cup of coffee, come back, and it's an all-out focus on solving the homicide. So, and you have to go through each lead after you sign it, read what the portion of the investigation that they've conducted, and figure out what's the next logical step. How do we get to the ultimate solution of the crime? It takes a long time. A lot of leads are things that do not pan out. Most do not pan out. So you have to filter through all of that and figure it out and get the focus down. You may have, in the Hunter case at the Heartbreak Hotel, I wrote a search warrant application because we developed information through the lead desk that the weapon might be in a certain location. So you have to be cognizant of what you're doing at the time, because 6 months down the road, it could be challenged by a defense attorney. So you have to have that knowledge when you're assigning these leads. You have to have, when you assign them to an individual, you have to inform him or her of what exactly is important in the lead and the procedure to do it properly so that it can be used if it results in good information. So it's a fairly complicated task. Very few people were assigned to those lead desks. Like I said, I did it in Greene County, I did it in Ulster County, and I did it in Orange County. Because in Troop F that I was assigned as an investigator, there's 5 counties: Sullivan County, Orange County, Rockland County, Greene County, and Ulster County. And the BCI is one troop-wide entity.
What are your goals as district attorney?
My goals as district attorney is to bring Greene County into the 21st century. I think a lot of things slide by in Greene County. People think it's sleepy. I know better. When I was an investigator in Greene County, I had the second highest caseload of any investigator in New York State, which investigators investigate serious crimes. I know that there's a lot going on in Greene County. It doesn't serve the county well that a lot of it does not get exposed, but it's very difficult for a police agency to publicize the fact that it's investigating a lot of crimes. What I do see in Greene County is a need for some coordination by an individual, and I think that I'm that individual with the energy to coordinate the response. And I think I see positive signs this year. I see it as a teamwork effort, and I include the newspaper with it. And then what I do see in the newspaper is there's a big emphasis right now on the heroin problem. Greene County has a heroin problem. It can't be covered up. But your paper has revealed several different investigations recently that have resulted in arrests. People are starting to understand there is a problem in heroin. There is one in Greene County. And as the people learn more and they're educated more, I'm hoping that we can coordinate the drug courts, the newspaper, as a team effort to make sure that Greene County is safe for its citizens. That's what my ultimate goal is, to make sure that Greene County is safe for its citizens. And coordinating that effort is going to require somebody with the energy and talent and experience that goes with the job, talking with other agencies, talking with police agencies, talking with the social services agencies, which a lot of times all these agencies have their own agenda and they don't want to share. That needs to change. The people are paying a lot of money for all of these agencies, and it's not getting any cheaper. And I think in that role as a DA, hopefully we get a coordinated effort and makes the world a whole lot better, because nothing's getting cheaper.
Staying on the money theme, the DA's office has been running on the same budget for 14 years. How would you address that? Would you want more money coming in? Would you want it to stay the same? What are your thoughts on it, and how would you go about getting more money for you and your staff?
Well, first I would ask the legislature for more money. The staff is understaffed, I think, at the Greene County DA's office. That's my personal opinion. I think we need to have talented, aggressive attorneys in the Greene County District Attorney's Office. They can't be overburdened by the load. They should be able to have time to do their job. And what I would do is I would go to Albany. I would petition for money. I would attempt to contact some of my contacts in the state police and possibly get an investigator assigned from the New York State Police so that doesn't cost the county any more money. I would research personally and try to find grants to get more money into the district attorney's office so that we can have better prosecution. And I would make sure that the people that work for me are as accountable as I am. And that is a big key, I think. Accountability. But it wouldn't be beyond me to go to Washington if a grant was available and lobby to get money for the Greene County District Attorney's Office. I think it's important enough that I should spend my time making sure that they get quality representatives, that the Greene County people are represented by quality people in that office, and they do their job.
Can you talk a little bit about your philosophy when it comes to plea bargaining?
I think that with plea bargaining, obviously there's a lot of involvement in time, budget considerations. But if there's a crime that somebody gets hurt, especially the most vulnerable populations in Greene County, the elderly, children, domestic violence victims, sex abuse victims, I don't see any reason not to prosecute them to the full extent of the law. Unless there's specific facts, sometimes, and I'm sure there will be, because you have to review each case on its own facts. Those are the crimes that really, they're abhorrent to me. They need attention right away. People don't need to be on the streets in fear of their lives. Physical violence is not something that I would condone. On the other hand, if you're talking about the guy that's arrested for DWI on a Friday night and it's his first offense, and he's the breadwinner in the family, do we need to pound him and say, all right, $30,000 in bail, and then he loses his job on Monday because he can't make bail? We need to look at every single case and figure out what's the best for the community in prosecution in that case. Is it necessary for him? Is he a danger to society? Should we put a high bail on him? That all needs to be looked at in every single case. It can't be allowed to just continue without any comment from the district attorney's office. And I have the energy to ensure that I will review every single case. That's one of the hallmarks of my career. If you check with any of my supervisors, I will work tirelessly. I put in a lot of time. I know that this job is not going to be a 40-hour-a-week job, and I don't expect it to be. I enjoy working hard, and I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be accountable to the people, and my staff will be accountable to them too.
What's your stance on medical marijuana in New York State?
I really haven't done much research on it. My instincts are that marijuana is a stepping stone drug, and it's difficult enough. I was an undercover narcotics investigator for 3.5 years. It's difficult enough to catch and prosecute drug dealers, not necessarily the drug user, but it's very difficult to catch and prosecute them. I don't think that medical marijuana, the intent is there. There's a lot of laws where the intent is very good. People should not have to suffer. That I agree with completely. If it's tightly controlled and it can work for people and they can, ease their pain, fine. But what happens is things don't stay within their bounds. And when that happens, if it becomes a stepping stone to crime, I don't know if it's worth the effort to make the medical marijuana jump. I haven't really, like I said, I haven't done a lot of research on the medical marijuana issue. I certainly don't like the way I see what's going on in Colorado, personally. I think, everybody being high on marijuana is not a really good thing. But I do see it as a stepping stone, and that is in reality what happens. People don't start with the hard drugs. They start, and there's peer pressure. But education, to me, I've seen the transition from marijuana to the cocaine, and now heroin. The standards just keeps sliding that way, and I don't object to it if it's well controlled. But I've seen workers' comp doesn't get well controlled, disability doesn't get well controlled, and I just hope that if that does happen, that it is very well controlled.
How do you feel about the SAFE Act?
The SAFE Act is a pretty touchy subject because I think in reality it challenges the edges of the Constitution. I've been a gun owner since 1985, and I don't like the SAFE Act. as a prosecutor, you're charged with enforcing all the laws, and it is a law. But as a prosecutor, you're also vested with a wide amount of discretion, and that is one place where I would have to exercise my discretion. And like I told you before, reviewing all the facts of all the cases, I would say that I would exercise my discretion. I question the constitutionality of seizure of any property by anybody without due process. I think it was passed very quickly, overnight, in the wrong manner. I think I would support people that move to repeal that act, but at the same time, the DA's office is not